Egyptian religion blended beliefs and practices, encompassing Egyptian mythology, science, medicine, psychiatry, magic, spiritualism, herbology, and the modern view of religion as faith in a higher power and life after death. Religion influenced every part of ancient Egyptian life. Earthly life was seen as one stage of an eternal journey, and to continue it after death, one had to live a life worthy of continuance. Egyptians upheld the principle of ma'at, harmony, aware that their actions impacted themselves, others, and the universe. It was essential to depend on each other to keep balance, as the gods wished to create the greatest pleasure for humans through a harmonious existence that helped the gods in their tasks. By honoring Ma'at, personified as a goddess with the white feather of truth, and living by its principles, one aligned with the gods and the forces of light against chaos, ensuring a place in the Hall of Truth and a just judgment from Osiris, Lord of the Dead. The gods. The essence of Egyptian religion was Heka, magic, embodied in the god Heka. Heka was eternal, present at creation, empowering the gods in their roles and enabling human connection to them. Infusing daily life with meaning, Heka sustained Ma'at, which life depended on. Heka can be likened to money. Currency holds an unseen value, backed by a standard, similar to how Heka underpinned the power enabling divine and human interactions. Gods were invoked for specific reasons, worshipped for their gifts, but Heka was the bond allowing relationships between people and deities. The gods were seen as the creators and guardians of order and as friendly guides. They brought order from chaos and blessed Egypt, a beautiful homeland the people cherished deeply. Egyptians avoided long campaigns abroad to avoid dying on foreign soil, fearing they wouldn't receive proper rights for the afterlife. Similarly, monarchs avoided marrying daughters to foreign rulers. The gods had favored the land, and people honored them as benevolent benefactors. Long ago, the Egyptians believed there was only dark, swirling chaos, new. From it rose the primordial hill, the Ben-Ben, where the great god Adam, or Ta, or Are, later known as Adam-Ar, emerged with Heka present. Feeling alone, Adam-Ar mated with his shadow, creating Shu, god of air, and Tefnut, goddess of moisture. Shu gave life principles, Tefnut gave order, and they went forth to shape the world. Worried about their absence, Adam-Ar sent his eye to find them. Shu and Tefnut returned with his eye, later known as the Ujat or all-seeing eye, and Adam-Ar shed tears of joy, creating men and women. Shu and Tefnut then gave birth to Geb, earth, and Nut, sky. Though brother and sister, they were inseparable lovers, so Adam-Ar separated them, placing Nut in the heavens. Nut, pregnant by Geb, bore Osiris, Isis, Set, Nephthys, and Horus, recognized as early gods, with Hathor considered older than Isis. These gods then birthed others. Each god held unique roles. Bastet was goddess of hearth, health, and secrets. Hathor, goddess of love, was associated with kindness and compassion. In the story from the Book of the Heavenly Cow, she became Sekhmet to punish humanity but later transformed into Hathor, pledging service to humankind. Beer was central to Egyptian life, tied to Hathor and especially Tenenet, goddess of beer and childbirth. One tale tells of Osiris, killed by Set but revived by Isis. He could no longer rule on earth and became Lord of the Dead. His son, Horus, fought Set for 80 years, restoring harmony. Together, Horus and Isis ruled, while each god found their place. Among key deities were those of the Theban triad, Ammonius, Mut, and Khons, also known as Khonsu. Originally local gods, Ammonius, Mut, and Khons gained prominence when Menhotep II united Egypt and made Thebes the capital. Ammonius became a supreme creator symbolized by the sun, Mut his wife represented by the sun's rays, and Khons, their son, was the god of healing and protector from evil spirits. These three deities were connected with the Ogdoad of Hermopolis, a group of 8 primordial gods representing qualities of the original matter, like darkness, moisture, and boundlessness. The Ogdoad, usually 4 deities paired with female counterparts, symbolize the cosmic state before the earth rose from the waters of chaos and light emerged. Known as the Hahu or the Infinities, these gods included Ammonius and Amunet, He and Hahe, Kek and Kakit, and Nun and Nanit, each embodying aspects of the unknown time before creation: hiddenness, infinity, darkness, and the abyss. This male-female symmetry highlighted the Egyptian value of balance, believed to create cosmic harmony before the world began. Harmony and eternity. Egyptians thought the earth mirrored the cosmos, with stars and constellations influencing character and destiny. The gods not only graced the heavens but lived among the people, interacting daily. Certain trees were even seen as homes of the gods, especially for Hathor, known as the mistress of the date palm or lady of the sycamore. Scholars Oakes and Gallen note that, due to their shade and fruit, trees were linked to goddesses of protection and nurturing, including Hathor, Nut, and Isis, who often appeared in religious art. Flowers also connected to divinity, like the Ish tree's flowers, known as flowers of life. For Egyptians, eternity was not a distant heaven but a daily interaction with divine beings, continuing beyond death. To experience this bliss, harmony in life was essential, as disharmony affected both oneself and others. Ingratitude was the gateway sin since it disrupted balance and allowed chaos to enter one's soul. Losing sight of gratitude drew one toward darkness, so rituals like the 5 gifts of Hathor encouraged people to name 5 things they were most grateful for by counting their fingers. Naming specific cherished things like family, pets, or nature helped maintain a light heart. This balance was crucial in life and after death because, for eternal bliss, one's heart needed to be lighter than a feather at judgment before Osiris. The soul and the hall of truth. According to scholar Margaret Bunsen, Egyptians feared eternal darkness after death, as it contradicted the orderly flow of light in the universe. They saw death as a path to eternity, venerating rituals and structures tied to it, as seen in tombs and pyramids across Egypt. Posthumous rituals were equally significant. The soul consisted of 9 parts. Ka was the physical body. Ka was one's double. Ba was a bird-headed aspect linking earth and heaven. Shuyet was the shadow self. Ak was the immortal, transformed self. Sahu and Sechem were parts of the Ak. It was the heart, the source of good and evil. Ren was one's secret name. At death, the Ak, Sahu, and Sechem appeared before Osiris in the Hall of Truth, where the heart, the B, was weighed against the feather of truth. To proceed, one would recite the negative confession, a list of sins one had avoided, before the 42 judges. A light heart allowed passage to paradise. If it was heavy, it was devoured by Ammit, ending one's existence. In the afterlife, kindness was further tested by Rafhaf, a surly boatman. Showing compassion to him allowed one to cross Lily Lake to the Field of Reeds, a mirror world without disease or death, where one would await or reunite with loved ones. The clergy, temples, and scripture. While Greek historian Herodotus claimed only men served as priests, records show Egyptian women could serve from the Old Kingdom, especially in cults of goddesses like Hathor. Clergy roles typically aligned with the deity's gender, and priests or priestesses could marry, have families, and own property. Historian Margaret Bunsen notes that many clergy were part of long-standing temple families, remaining active in community life and aware of local concerns. Training for clergy and scribes was rigorous, and once initiated, they oversaw temples, performed rituals, served as healers, astrologers, and dream interpreters, and conducted ceremonies like marriages and blessings. They blessed amulets, performed exorcisms, and purified homes to ward off spirits or enhance fertility. The primary duty of ancient Egyptian priests was to serve the god of their temple and their community, with a significant part of their role involving the care of both the temple and the god's statue within it. In addition, priests acted as healers under the guidance of the god Heka, regardless of the specific deity they served. For example, priests and priestesses of the goddess circuit were healers, and their ability to invoke her power came through Heka. Egyptian temples were regarded as the actual homes of the gods they represented. Each morning, the head priest or priestess, after bathing and dressing in fresh white linen and clean sandals, would enter the temple to tend to the statue of the god as if it were a person under their care. The sanctuary doors were opened to allow in the morning light, and the statue, residing in the inner sanctuary, was cleaned, dressed, and anointed with oil before the doors were closed and locked again. Only the head priest was permitted such close contact with the god, while other visitors could enter outer areas, where lesser priests attended to their needs and offerings. Although there were no official scriptures, the temple teachings likely reflected themes found in works like the pyramid texts, coffin texts, and the Book of the Dead. While the Book of the Dead is often compared to a religious text, it was actually a collection of spells guiding the soul in the afterlife. The oldest of these, the pyramid texts, date back to around 2400 to 2300 BCE, followed by the coffin texts, circa 2134 to 2040 BCE, and the Book of the Dead, circa 1550 to 1070 BCE. These texts guided the soul in navigating the afterlife, reflecting a worldview focused on life rather than an obsession with death. Religious festivals played a major role in Egyptian life, merging the sacred and everyday. Scholar Lynn Meskel observed that these events made beliefs tangible beyond mere social celebrations. Major festivals like the beautiful festival of the Wadi, honoring Ammonius, and other festivals for gods or community events drew widespread participation. On special days, statues of gods were paraded in the streets or sailed on the Nile, and priests would answer petitions. The god statues were brought out to interact with the people, a practice that might have origins in Egypt or Mesopotamia. The beautiful festival of the Wadi celebrated life, community, and well-being, where people prayed for health and left offerings of thanks. Meskel describes priests collecting offerings and replacing them with some items found in archaeological digs, illustrating an intimate connection with the gods. For instance, at Timna in Sinai, votive offerings were smashed to show a transfer from human to divine. Often left intact, these items were sometimes destroyed to symbolize devotion and surrender to the gods. At these festivals, all aspects of life, including acts modern audiences might label as profane, were part of the celebration. Sexuality, alcohol, prayer, blessings for health, and offerings in gratitude or plea were all integrated. Families, young people, the elderly, and people of every social class, from slaves to rulers, gathered for these events, underscoring that Egyptian faith and daily life were woven tightly together. Through shared beliefs, they recognized their lives as connected, forming a collective tapestry of community and faith.